Hey guys, how you going? I hope you're doing well. I would like to just start tonight by just giving a big thank you to a few people. Tuckers, I hope I said that right. Kevin, Michael, Scott, Rachel, Linnell, Anne, David, Terry and Melvin. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your support. These are people who donated to my PayPal, which will be in the links below. If you don't have to, nobody has to do anything. I appreciate if I do get anything. So thank you very much. Okay, let's start. I am not telling people what to think or what to believe. I am a normal person. I just want to say to you, we've been told all our life, we were all born into this, we've been told all our life what to think and how to think. For so long, we're used to it. Now, honestly, I'd give you some advice to listen to all points of view and with reason and logic, make up your own mind. Don't believe anyone, okay? Including me, until you can make up your own mind. We can't just go from believing everything mainstream said to believing everything that alternative news says too. Because that's just going from believing one to believing another we need to learn to think for ourselves, each and every one of us, and not be told what to think. Do your own research as well, if you can, and just look into things. Okay, study the facts and you will come to your own conclusions. Okay? The fact is that as far as we know, there is something called Q, and it does post on a board. Okay? Now, whether you believe it or not doesn't matter. If I did want to say is Trump, during his speeches on coronavirus, he doesn't just talk about coronavirus. He has reported that people have been saved. They have rescued people from trafficking. He does talk about trafficking and people being saved. And if you don't watch and listen to his speeches, you won't know that, because the media are not going to report on it. The same as all this, okay? The media are not going to report on it. It's the last thing they want to do because it involves them. So you will not hear this on mainstream media. Well, this is from Child Protector MD MSC, okay, on Twitter. This is a screenshot. Oh no, this is the actual tweet. I will link it down below. Confirmed, there are children in the US comfort. I'm a pediatric pulmonologist. This is a monitor for an incubated child. I know this because it's stable, set at respiration of 40. That is an infant toddler. Bet my life on it. If you are a nurse or a doctor, please speak up. Let me know if this is true, because this is just on Twitter, okay? Now, this one's a screenshot, so I can't link to this one, but you could go to Anne-Marie on Twitter at Anne-Marie 427354558. Not sure, but this might be part of it. In March, my ex was working on containment units, subcontracting through a contractor who got the government contract. Built inside vacant warehouses off pretty much two desolate, obsolete highway. 3/4 welded eye bolts were epoxied into holes, drilled into the cement. GC told him it was to make sure people didn't escape. National Guard has been set up at the exits for about 3+ weeks. These were not hospital-like facilities, no media coverage, not a peep. One had 12 units with zipper doors like an ice fisherman. Hit the other site had more isolation units. He wasn't sure how many. Really weird, and I've thought so since finding out it must be for arrests coming. No phones, cameras were allowed, all were locked up before entry. Maybe a coincidence, but have a giant from the start. So make of that what you will. As I said, don't believe anything. Make of that what you will. Make of that what you will. Don't believe anything until you can. We won't be able to verify this. It will not be on the news. We'll not be able to verify this until we are told or shown. Okay, the next thing I wanted to read to you was this. This was a Wikileaks drop about Lisa McPherson. It's also about Scientology, and I found it very interesting. Okay, this was on the 5th of December 95. Lisa McPherson, flag public, living in Clearwater, TL, dropped her body this evening while being taken to a hospital in Newport Richey, Florida. Lisa had been staying at the Fort Harrison Hotel at 210 South Fort Harrison Avenue after having gone into a psychotic break on the 38th of November 1995. Okay, well, it looks like a lot of these things are severely misspelled. Or Wow, I don't know who did this, but anyway, it's pretty bad. She had a room in one of the back cabanas, number 174. She had attendants with her. The purpose for having the attendants with her was to ensure her safety, to keep her from hurting herself and others, to provide her with the basics such as food, rest, hygiene, and to assist her to come out of the psychotic break. This evening, when Janice Johnson examined Lisa, she noticed bruises on her body that were not healing as bruises normally would, which she recognised as a sign of a more severe infection. She called Dr. Minkoff, David, seeking his advice. He advised that Lisa be taken to hospital for treatment. Maine explained to Dr. Minkoff the concern he had with this, which is that she did not want to end up in psych hands. Mr. Minkoff then said that Lisa should be taken to his hospital in Newport Richey. She was immediately taken, but on the way to the hospital she got worse and died at the hospital. Driver was Janice Johnson and accompanying her was Laura Arenada, MLO staff. An autopsy will be done to officially determine the cause of death. Background. Lisa started Scientology services in 1982, July, in Dallas, Texas. The first flag service she did was the Keeping Scientology Working course in 1983. Lisa did her lower bridge at the Southwest Mission in Dallas, Texas. She came to flag in 1986 for her CCRD in 1986, but did not attest to the state of clear until September 1995. Lisa was a staff member in the Southwest Mission in 1984, but it is not known at this time for how long she was a staff member there. There is a note that Lisa had joined the Sea Org in 1989, but did not stay very long, under 1 year. I heard that thing is something wrong with this. We all know there's something wrong with Scientology, but the Sea Org, there was something about that vessel. And I'd also like to know where Mr. Miscavige's wife is. Look, that's a very interesting one too. Specifics on Lisa's case track are as follows. Lisa did the purification rundown from July 26, 82 to 11 August 82. She has a heavy drug history. She had life repair objectives which were quickied and done twice later. Self-Analysis List 1 ARC Straight Wire, which was left incomplete in 1983. A lot of word-clearing ethics, conditions and study handlings throughout 1984. She did her Scientology drug rundown in 1585? Well, she's very, very old. 1985. Though this was quickied at the time and more had to be done on this in 1988 along with further objectives. She also had the false purpose rundown list, 10-A in 85. Wow, this is really faint. In 1986, along with her SCN Drug RD review and further objectives, Lisa did a Green Form 40 quickied and CCRD, which found her not clear. Then had quickied grade O, quickied grade 1 and did her grade 2, including a Joe Berg. Now, I don't know what any of this means, but you'll see how it gets interesting. In December 86, January 87, she had PTS rundown. Items were Mum, Don and Teresa. Then she had a grade 3 and grade 14. Some surfax not run as surfax. This was followed by a large amount of word clearing, false data stripping and OW right up to the end of 1987. In 1988, she had study handlings and ethics handling. She did no auditing in 1989 and 1990. In 1991, she got an HCO SEC check for leaving staff. In May 91, Lisa came to flag and wanted to and CCRD. Wow. She received a PTS correction list, PTS C-S1, PTS Interview Dynamic Sort Out Assessment, old version, and then she did the CCRD. She felt she'd gone clear last lifetime. See, I don't understand this, but it does get interesting, believe me. The CCRD found her not to be clear. Also in 1991, Lisa, her KTL clay table processing. Because the reason we don't understand, or I don't understand this, is because it's all got to do with Scientology and their strangeness. In 1992, Lisa was sick and roller coastering constantly, despite having done her PTS rundown. She then did a long assist program. Lisa completed KTL and LOC in 1993 and then did her whole NED program and attested to NED case completion. She wanted clear at that point, but this was not recognised at the time. Also in 1993, Lisa got word clearing method 1, very quickied, and another green form 40 done, again quickied. I'd like to know what quickied means. In 1994, Lisa did L11 in June 1994. Lisa got LX lists and another green form 40 and was attempted and dropped. She is then put onto expanded grades. She got through her ARC straight wire and part of grade 0. Gets an initial handling, gets her PTS rundown flattened. Items were Sandy, Porter, Dad, Carla Davis and Kurt Payne. Then grade O and grade 1 completed, and Lisa got started onto 1 to 12, which she completed in February 95. And I do realise I just said 0 and O. They're the same thing, except we say O here in Australia, and I do believe in America you say 0. In June 1995, Lisa caved in and actually went into a spin psychotic break. She stayed in the spin despite attempts to handle? Finally, she was gotten out of the spin, completed her review and attested to the state of clear. This was 7th of September 1995. Since then, up until her psychotic break on 18th of November 1995, She had done several ethics handlings at her work. AMC Publishing, owned and operated by David and Bernetta Slaughter, in Clearwater. Does anyone find anything strange about some of these names lately? Slaughter. She had been writing OWs for weeks and was acting strangely the last couple of days prior to her break, which was not reported to Flag. I'm wondering, was she about to try and escape? Because this whole thing doesn't sound right. When I get down further, you'll understand. On the 18th, Bonetta had driven Lisa to where her car was parked, dropped her off there, and expected her to meet her at Bonetta's home. On the way to Lisa's car, which was parked at AMC Publishing, they drove past an automobile accident, which was located 1.5 blocks away from the office and Lisa's car. The police were there, the paramedics, etc. What appears to have happened after Bonetta dropped Lisa off at her car is as follows. As Lisa was approaching the accident in her car, leaving the office, she herself had an accident. She ran into the back end of a boat which was being towed by a vehicle. The motor of the boat came loose from the boat and some damage was incurred to the other party by Lisa. She and the other party exchanged information, names and phone numbers, so that matters could be handled by the respective insurance companies. According to the other party, who later called Lisa's apartment looking for her, there was a question as to whether or not Lisa had insurance to cover the damage to his motor. The other party then left the scene, and it was after that Lisa went into her psychotic break. She stripped off her clothes in front of them and was walking near the scene of the other accident. They gained control of her and had one of the paramedics there take her to Morton Plant Hospital. From Morton Plant Hospital, Lisa phoned the Slaughter residence. Bonetta was not there, as she'd gone out to look for Lisa, worried because she's not shown up at her house. David Slaughter and a Scientologist living in their home, Mary DeMoss, went over to Morton Plant Hospital to help Lisa. They had no idea at the time what had occurred earlier at the scene of the two accidents. An OT 8 chiropractor in Clearwater, 8, also went to the hospital. Jean DeCaper, I can't say that, sorry guys, DeMoss contacted OSA Flag with the data about the psych break and that Lisa was in the emergency room with the threat of getting committed. Prediction IC and Social Reform Off went to the hospital, as well as a senior CS PSO, Alan Kartozinski. Two of the MLOs also arrived shortly after. They were Judy Golderberry Weber and Emma Shamehorn. The doctor on duty was affected that it was against Lisa's belief to speak to any psychiatrists, and this was highly unacceptable to send one to see her. Lisa was in one of the back rooms at the time, along with Mary and Jean. Elaine was gotten back there to see her. So some of this just it's not written out properly, so... A psych nurse was sent to examine Lisa as opposed to a psychiatrist. Lisa assured him that she was okay and would not hurt herself or anybody else. She was fairly lucid at the time. He adjudicated that Lisa could be released into the care of Judy Goldsberry Weber, who the hospital staff and duty doctor are familiar with. They know she takes care of the search of Scientology staff and parishioners who go to the hospital. Why? To me, that's very strange, and to me, they were the ones who said she wouldn't see a psychiatrist. Because if she had, they may have said she was okay. I think these people have... Just think of MK Ultra. If you don't know what that is, please go back. I've got a video from quite a while ago, if it's still up, as what Wikipedia says about it. So, okay, let's continue. Lisa was then taken to Fort Harrison, was set up in Cabana 174. Susan Schurenberger stayed with her. Susan had stayed with Lisa when she was in earlier spin in August 95. And what's to say they're not just saying this, that she was going into psychotic breaks and hurting herself? During her stay in the cabana, Lisa did not improve except for having been given aspirin or sedatives. She was regularly violent with the girls staying with her. This evening she was examined by Janice Johnson, MLO. She contacted Dr. Minkoff, who advised taking Lisa to the hospital. Current data from Dr. Minkoff is that it appears Lisa's body was overwhelmed by sudden infection, which might have been meningitis. The virus could have taken its effect on the body in as little as 8 to 10 hours. The autopsy will be done tomorrow. And that was much love. Prediction IC, OSA flag. So I believe that was part of the Scientology report. Debrief to Dr. David Minikoff, RE Lisa McPherson. Tonight I spoke to Dr. David Minikoff regarding Lisa McPherson. Minkoff is an OT8 who is an MD and works at the Newport Richie Hospital outside of CW. I asked him to relate to me what had happened and he told me the following. See, this doctor also works for Scientology. Why would anyone believe him? He said that tonight about 7:30 to 7:45 he received a call, PM, he received a call from Janice Johnson, the MLO FSO. Janice said that she had seen Lisa McPherson, who was staying in one of the cabanas at the Fort Harrison, and that Lisa looked very sick. Janice said it looked like Lisa had a bad infection and wanted to know if she should be given antibiotics. Minkoff told Janice that it was better to get her to the hospital and that she should bring Lisa in to see him. Janice took Lisa and two staff, the SSO and an assistant from her MLO office, with her and drove to the new Port Richey Hospital about 45 minutes away. When they arrived at the hospital, Lisa was brought back to the emergency room where Minkoff was working. Minkoff said that he looked at her and could see she was dead. He said that Janice Johnson stated that Lisa had been gasping and had laboured breathing en route. They worked on her for about 20 minutes trying to resuscitate her, giving her CPR and antibiotics, but to no avail. He said that it appeared she had been overwhelmed by infection, one which she could not fight off. I'd say the infection was Scientology. He said that it appeared to him as if there had been some infection that overwhelmed the body in maybe 8 to 12 hours. He said that she had marks on her which may be due to the infection, where the infection discolours the flesh under the skin. There was bruises on her hands and feet, he said. He said that he thinks that she may have had meningitis, which is an infectious disease. He stated that even if she had been brought to another hospital in the area, i.e. closer to the FH, he felt she still would have died. Of course he did. It was probably part of what killed her. Janice Johnson was spoken to by hospital staff but did not know Lisa's address, phone number, next of kin, social security number, etc., and explained that she had just been the one to drive Lisa to the hospital and had forgotten to grab Lisa's purse with her ID, etc., as she was in a hurry. Minkoff spoke to terminals at FSO by phone and was given the address and phone number of Lisa. Minkoff spoke to the nursing manager at the hospital and she tried calling the phone number of Lisa's 6 apartment in OW to get her roommate to get data on Lisa, but that there was no answer. Minkoff said that it is routine in matters such as these, where a patient dies quickly when coming to the hospital, that it becomes a coroner's case. He said that starting tomorrow, Wednesday, a coroner will ask questions about the case and basically will just want to get things answered for himself. What happened? How did she get sick, etc. He said that the coroner, once through, will sign the death certificate. He said that there will be blood tests done on Wednesday. Who did? Minkoff? And who's arranging the coroner? Is that Minkoff as well? He said that since this might be an infectious disease, he will ensure we get notified tomorrow as soon as he knows as to what disease it was, and then we should take precautions that whoever on the base was in contact with Lisa should get antibiotics. Minkoff is going to contact us first thing Wednesday as soon as he hears any data from the coroner and from Lisa's blood tests, re this infection. Heather Hoff started staying with Lisa 1 week ago Wednesday. She started at 4 p.m. and was on flat out till 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. While Heather was with her, Lisa was not violent. She tried to trip Heather a couple of times, but no other real aggression. She ate some food and took some vitamins at the time. She was very active at the time and was moving around the room a lot. Heather was then off, and the next day while the Sir Rap and were with her, Lisa became very violent. Heather was called back over as Lisa had not been violent when she was there. Once Heather arrived at the dentist. What? At the dentist? Was there and got 0 to 12 aspirin down her throat. Also possibly got her to take Benadryl, a sleeping pill. Dear God. I think these people have killed her. Heather was then off until 3 days ago when she was put back on. Once she returned to the room, she found Lisa was pale, weak, and slept more. Per Heather, Lisa has not been active in the last 3 days. During the last 2 days, Heather attempted to give her food. Sometimes she would eat and sometimes she would just spit it out. Per Heather, she also had a lot of bruises on her legs, feet, arms, etc. from kicking things, hitting the walls, etc. I don't believe any of this. Today, most of the day, Lisa was in bed to say anything or not moving. Not saying anything or not moving. She was breathing. She was given a bath. Heather left to go to dinner when Laura arrived. Laura said Lisa looked sick and should go to the doctors. Rita Edwards Boykin. Rita was first on the watch Sunday, Monday, 26th and 27th of November. At that time, Lisa was extremely agitated and active. She was combated with the other girls staying with her and would ramble on about things, occasionally threatening to attack them. Rita was then off for a few days and came back on to it last Thursday, 30th of November. At that time, she noticed that Lisa was not walking around much and sat on the bed quite a bit. She reported that she was weak and not eating much at all. A couple of days ago, she seemed to be doing better. However, the last 24 hours, she has notably dropped weight. In 24 hours? Last 24 hours, Lisa had a swollen jaw on the left side of the face and when attempting to feed her, complained about pain in the throat. Rita did administer magnesium shots to Lisa, including today. So this doesn't make much sense. I think they did this. Leslie Woodcraft was with Lisa for one night, 2 weeks ago on the 24th of November. She said that Lisa was extremely agitated and moved around the room a lot. She got agitated a couple of times while Leslie was there and slapped Janice Johnson several times throughout the night. She did not sleep that night. She was very non-coherent and would chatter continuously while she was there. She also spent a lot of time in the bathroom, turning the water on and off and banging the shower hose around. She then got herself drenched and sprayed water all over the room. Floor got wet. At this point, once Joan arrived, Leslie went out to get dry clothes for Lisa. So it could have been a fight. Bruises all over the... this just leaves me with more questions than anything else. Joan Stevens. She was also with Lisa for one day, the same day, and came in to replace Leslie. When she got there, Lisa was awake and agitated. She became more agitated and became violent towards Joan, poking her in the eye and attempting to do it several times. She then attacked Joan with a potted plant in the room, which they took away from her. She then started to hit at things in the room and broke a lamp hanging from the ceiling. There was then glass all over the floor. She then became more and more violent and broke more glass in the bathroom. She then went and got back on her bed and then jumped off, landed on the wet floor and hit her head on the floor. She then attempted to hit her head again on the floor, which the watch prevented her from doing. At this point, security was called in and she was gotten onto her bed and the room was cleared. All towel bars, hair dryers, glasses, etc. were removed. The room was then cleaned up. Now, what if they were trying to do something to her and she was trying to fight back? Or if there was a fight in the room between all of them because she wanted to go? I'm just putting it out there what I'm thinking, guys, because this is all wrong. There's something very, very suspicious about all this. Barbara Wenberg came in at the tail end of the above. She was also with Lisa for one day. Nothing more happened once she was there other than Lisa being agitated. Patricia Strasinger, oh God, there's a lot of people here, was with Lisa for one night, 1st of December from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. When Patricia arrived, Lisa was asleep. Patricia started to clean the room. Lisa then woke up and started to become agitated, came up and slapped Patty several times. Patty would push her arms back down to her side. She was very incoherent and rambling on. Lisa then got sick and vomited. Patty got scared, so she called in security, who said it was fine. They cleaned it up. Per Patty, Lisa was always moving around. I think she was drugged. That's why she vomited. Kenya Smith, or either that or she'd been beaten so much that happens if you get beaten. I can just say that. Kenya Smith was with Lisa for 2 nights, 24th of November. First night she arrived, Lisa was very agitated and Kenya helped calm her down. And then Lisa fell asleep. She then slept for 8 hours. The next night when Kenya arrived, Lisa was babbling on a lot and talking and was very agitated. She moved around the room a lot. Later, Heidi Cesare arrived, another watch member, to replace Valerie Demange. She was not as good with Lisa, so Kenya got Valerie back into the room. Valerie Demange was with Lisa for a few days within about 3 days of Lisa's arrival. Lisa was very agitated at the time and moved around a lot. Valerie was then off for 2 days and then put back on. When she got back, she noticed that Lisa looked very tired and had only been getting 3 to 5 hours sleep per night. She was taking vitamins and protein drink. Laura Aranada, MLO assistant. I'm assuming assistant. Laura started with Lisa 2 weeks ago. Lisa at this time was very stirring and fighting all the time. Walking, talking, cleaning the walls, sticking her hands in her mouth a lot. There were 3 staff with Lisa. Lisa was with Sylvia at first and later with Valerie and then with Rita. The first week she was still very strong and kicking and fighting. Why? Were they trying to hold her against her will? Does this strike anyone else as very, very strange? Lisa was eating at some times and other times was putting the food on the floor. She was eating bits at a time. The girls helped her to eat, drink, and tried to help her keep eating by offering it to her. Laura was off for 5 days and then started again last Saturday. Lisa was less strong and sitting and walking more. See, it doesn't make sense. She was sitting and laying on the floor, rolling around, walking and talking, non-sequitur. That day she got magnesium shot and she slept. And the next day she was better and not talking non-sequitur. She was only drinking protein shakes and not eating much solid foods. Probably because they were drugging her in her food. Probably trying to send her psycho so she looked like one. She was then 2 days looking better and was sleeping this week and talking to Laura at times in PT and watching her. Then 2 days later, yesterday, she was refusing the protein shake, and when Laura arrived today, she was looking bad. She was not moving her body. Laura took it to give her a shower. After the shower, she was sleeping. Laura was watching her to see that her expiratory range was okay. Expiratory? Her respiratory range and pulse was okay. Laura told Janice that Lisa was not eating and maybe needed an IV. Janice came to see her and saw she was looking bad. Today her skin colour changed from ivory colour to ivory colour and looked septic. Janice called the SNRCS office and called to Mr. Minkonoff to get the okay to bring Lisa there to the hospital. 2 days ago, Lisa was helping to put her clothes on and then deteriorated in the last 24 hours very badly. It was when Laura arrived today that she noticed her doing bad. Poorly written. Lisa had been sleeping better for the last 3 nights, so had not been given any chloral hydrate in the last 3 days. She was being given magnesium injections, however, which can make you a bit tired. Janice Johnson, MLO. Lisa arrived at the FH on 18th of November after being gotten out of Morton plant. Susan Schurenberger stayed with her first weekend. Lisa was agitated and got violent with Susan over the weekend. Janice also knows that Lisa got violent with other people who were staying with her, including Janice. People were staying with Lisa to make sure she did not hurt herself and that she ate and slept. Lisa thought Janice was a psych and would get very enturbulated and violent when Janice came in to check on her. So Janice would just check with the people staying with Lisa how she was doing. Janice got Lisa herbs and chloral hydrate to help her sleep, which she was starting to do the last 3 days until she got sick. Does anyone else think they were poisoning her or drugging her or both? Tonight, Janice was given a message when she got into the office at 7 p.m. that Laura needed her. She went to the cabana and saw that Lisa was septic and had bruises on her body which looked like they were from an infection and were not healing properly. How would you know? Till you took her to the doctor and found out. Or the hospital. And why did they go to a hospital 45 minutes away and then said, oh, she would have died anyway? How do they know? Laura said she looked like that when she first saw her today at 5 p.m. She ran and talked to Elaine at the time and discussed with him what they could do. They both called Dr. Minkoff and told him that Lisa was septic and that she needed antibiotics. He said that he would have to see Lisa before giving her antibiotics and that they should bring her to see him at Newport Richie Hospital, but that he would only be there until 10. Janice went and got directions to the Newport Richie Hospital from Emma and arranged for Paul Greenwood to come along to help. She went back to the cabana and helped Laura get Lisa ready to go. Lisa had had diarrhea, so Janice helped Lisa change her. Janice noted that Lisa had lost a lot of weight. Janice told Lisa they were taking her to Dr. Minkoff. Lisa acted like she hurt everywhere, but was not hostile and acknowledged Janice in a friendly way. Paul and Laura lifted Lisa into Janice's van and sat in the back with her. Janice drove. It took about 45 minutes to get to the hospital. At one point, Janice heard Lisa's breathing get fast and harsh for 10 to 15 seconds and then go back down. When they got to the hospital, Janice opened the door to the van and saw Lisa. She thought that she still had some circulation from the way her skin looked. She got an orderly and nurse to come and get her. They put her in a wheelchair. Janice could see that Lisa's blood pressure was very low. Her skin still had colour, and she thought she saw Lisa breathing. Later, she was standing outside the emergency room where Dr. Minkoff was working on Lisa and saw the EKG screen, which showed no signs of life. Because of the way Lisa's skin looked, Janice thinks she had a severe infection like meningitis. Minkoff thought the same thing and is having a blood test done. Minkoff asked Janice why she hadn't brought Lisa in earlier, and Janice said that Lisa had not looked this sick before today. The hospital staff wanted to know basic information about Lisa, social security number, address, etc., but Janice had left in such a hurry she forgot Lisa's purse and did not know any of this data. This had to be called in for Paul Greenwood. SSO Paul Greenwood was called tonight and told to go to assist Janice Johnson take someone to the hospital who was sick. He went to the cabana, saw Lisa there with Laura A. Janice had gone to get the car. When he saw Lisa, she was awake but looked very sick and breathing heavily. He asked Laura what they were going to do, and she said they were going to take Lisa to the hospital. He and Laura tried to have Lisa walk between them, but she was too sick, so he carried her to the car. He sat in the back with Lisa and Laura, and Janice drove. Paul did not know which hospital they were going to. It took about 45 minutes to get there. On the way to the hospital, Lisa's breathing became laboured and then got fainter and fainter just before they arrived. When they got to the Newport Richie Hospital, Janice went in to get a doctor. An orderly took Lisa into the hospital in a wheelchair. That is the last time he saw her. That's the end. Does that make any sense to you guys? You know what I got from this? I got that they were doing something. She maybe wanted to leave and they were drugging her. And you never know what they could have been giving her. They could have given her, say, heroin or something and then said, oh, she was a drug addict. Because that's what they said in the beginning. And why did they bypass hospitals to go 45 minutes away to another one? How did they know she wasn't going to make it? I just think it's very strange, guys. I really do. Let me know what you think down below. Okay, I also wanted to mention something else. People are going to be arrested for other crimes before the abuse charges come. Because if you think about it, if they come out with and accuse these people of killing, abusing and eating children, babies, adrena, all that stuff, it would be covered on MSN as satanic panic like it was in the 80s. And a lot of people wouldn't believe it. So when they start with crimes like sedition and treason and things like that first, then the other charges will be put on top. Okay, so the public will realise these people are criminals, and then the child abuse and other charges relating to that kind of thing will be put on top. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight. Sorry if it was all over the place. But there was a few things that I had to put together there and say, and I really wanted to read this Wikileaks thing to you. So let me know what you think down below, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a good one, guys. Okay, bye.